I saw pictures on Facebook that you had the whole combined family in Mexico.
For the wedding.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, now we have a big family, so we have 6 kids, 3 dogs, and 2 grandkids. Well, 1 on the way.
Were the dogs combined in the marriage, or were they all on one side before?
Well, you know what? I think they're combined because I picked them up from the vet the other day. Now their last name is Ricchi, so they got married too.
This is very important. Are the dogs getting along?
Oh, absolutely. And the kids are getting along.
Well, the kids, I know.
Yeah, Ray and I are even getting along. So
it's great.
And I've, you know, my kids and I have taken over their home, so we've kind of meshed to where everything is kind of just collaborating into one.
And is there a mystique being married to a public figure such as Mr. Ricchi?
There's mystique being married to Ray. Absolutely.
The fact that he's a public figure is secondary?
That is secondary. So he's a fantastic person.
I look at your Facebook page, and I do a little, internet search on you, and the words author, activist, and advocate for the rights and protection of children and women. So that's a long title.
Probably 5 years ago, I went through a divorce and ran away to Mexico a lot. I like Mexico. Went by myself many, many, many times and sat on the beach and met a shaman and, talked to God and anybody else who'd listen. And all of a sudden it hit me what I was supposed to do. So working with abused children and adults. Went to meet with this shaman and we started talking, this woman, and she said, "Have you worked with sex trafficking before?" And I said, "Well, I've done a lot of research on it and I've seen quite a few things, but I've not, seen it firsthand." And she said, "I really believe that that's what you're supposed to do." But it just got very, very specific for me. And my middle daughter, Mary, and I went to Kenya. And then I went to Rwanda. And then I came home and started looking at the sex trafficking issues in the U.S., Oklahoma, Texas. My eyes were just really open to not just what was happening, but that I really could help in my tiny little way. I started allowing my story to really relate to people who had been in the sex trafficking industry themselves, the sex industry. And it's one of the things that's a little bit difficult for people when I talk to them about what I do is that I completely work with that area of people's lives, how, sex and abuse have done a lot of damage. Started really getting involved with some people that had connections. The biggest one is Guerrilla Aid out of New York. And that's the reason I went to Cambodia, is he said, "I want you to go to this specific organization that really works on the eradication of sex trade in small children." Watching how they will sell their own children was something I did not see in Africa. And so I went into the slum projects, and we were supposed to stay one night, but it just got very scary. The guy had a machete and different things that I don't really talk about, so I don't want anybody to know I kind of put myself in that situation, but I did. But a mother that was there had 5 children, and the sex traders came in to buy one of her children because she owed them money, so she had to decide which one went. And I sat there and watched it, just, kind of like where you're sitting. And I'm sitting in this little village and watching the mom pick the middle girl, of course. And I honestly just got really angry. Well, when I was 25, I started a book. And I started in a treatment center.
Okay.
And I went into treatment for the 28-day program for drugs and alcohol eating illness, and I stayed for 8 weeks. While I was in there, I wrote a book, put it away, started doing more journaling and more journaling. And just
you really wrote a book?
I really wrote a book.
Or you kept a diary? Or
I wrote a book when I was there called Trusting Mama.
Okay.
And then I kept a diary as well. And then many years later, I pulled out the diaries and this book, and I started a book called If Only I Could Sleep. So that's how I got to the book anyway. My personal memoir about abuse and empowerment and survival, mostly.
Okay.
Not educated whatsoever. I had no parents, that helped me get a good education. So I put myself in a vo-tech and learned how to read when I was 22. So I get not knowing that you have something else to offer, and you'll read about that in my book.
Is this the first book you've written?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a long time coming,
mm-hmm.
I guess. And it talks about in detail. I haven't read the book
mm-hmm.
in detail about your past, your experiences, your
mm-hmm.
rehab, your addictions, and
right.
And you got 3 kids.
Right.
And
now I have 6.
Now you got 6 kids.
Mm-hmm.
How have you brought your kids into your life story? I mean, how have you shared that with them?
You know, as I was going through the story, I can't even tell you how many times I decided, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. And every time I decided to put the pen away and just forget about it, you know, not talk about it, something would happen. Or my son would say something that just would hit me over the head, you know, and they knew my lifestyle, but they knew that what happened with the choices I made and what happened to me that I had no choice about could help. And I think the most phenomenal thing is that, in a bad way, is I'm just one story of a very typical situation in our world, right? But I just felt like it was my turn. Children, they are so proud of me, which is
At
beyond.
what age did you start sharing the truth with them?
4 years ago. These family members are so supportive, and they all know. They know. You know, I had a CBS 11 interview.
I saw it. Yeah.
And you know, and it was my first, pardon me, my first real, you know, get it out there, and I wasn't scared at all. I wasn't.
If you think you have a story to tell, send me an email. But I have to tell you up front, it better be good.